Good evening and welcome. My name is Molly Edwards. I'm the admissions director here at Newman Goretti. And we're so happy you're able to join us tonight. We're here tonight just to talk to you a little bit about our school, about the admissions process, the financial aid process, all of it, just to make sure that you have all the information you need as you go through this high school process. We know it's a lot. It's a big decision, so we want to help make your decision as easy as possible. So that's our job here tonight. There will be plenty of time for Q&A at the end of our event. So please feel free, as questions come up, drop them in the Q&A or in the chat, and we'll be happy to get to them as we go on. So tonight we have with us Mr. Hugh Quigley, our school principal, Mrs. Kathleen Landrum, our guidance director, and Mrs. Denise Arigale, our tuition manager. So between the four of us, we're going to make sure you are all set for the application process, have a good idea of what's going on here at Newman Goretti, and are ready to keep moving through with the rest of this year. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Quigley to talk a little bit about life at Newman Goretti, our academic programs, and what you can expect as a student here.
Thank you, Mrs. Edwards. Thank you for joining us this evening. I want to start off with a quick prayer, as we do with all things in Catholic education. So feel free to join us or take a moment of reflection on your own, whatever is fitting for you and your family. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. I'm just going to do a quick Hail Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. St. John Newman, and pray for us. St. Maria Goretti, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So thank you all again for joining us tonight for the first of several info sessions that we have going on over about the next 2 months, where we'll have opportunities for you to get to know all different aspects of the school, including all the academic departments and student life and athletics as well. Tonight is our first session, and as a principal, I'd like to touch on a few things. I'd like to not give you a full history of the school, but just set the stage for who our institution is and how they and where it's come from and where it's going. Let you know a little bit about our school demographics and diversity of the school and how we see that as a strength and a true value add for students from all backgrounds. And after that, I'd like to give you some highlights of our academic programming that I think are important for you to know when considering Newman Goretti, and also may be differentiators for you when comparing us with other high school prospects. So first, history of the school. Really, what I really just want to make sure to get across in this is that Catholic education Catholic high school education has been a staple in the South Philadelphia part of the city for over 85 years. The separate boys and girls schools started at different times. So the boys schools started as Southeast Catholic, located at 7th and Christian, and that's the first high school in South Philadelphia, first Catholic high school in South Philadelphia, and that was over 85 years ago. That school eventually moved and was renamed Bishop Newman High School, and then St. John Newman High School. On the girls' side, the St. Maria Goretti High School opened in 1955. In 2004, both schools merged into one, the current co-educational St. John Newman and Maria Goretti Catholic High School, located in the building that we are now, in the East Patchogue neighborhood. All right, so that's who we are now, where we came from, and I just like to frame our conversation with that, is that Catholic education has been present and a part of so many lives and families, not only in South Philadelphia, but especially today. We serve students from all backgrounds, from all areas of the city. So we have students from Delaware County, Southwest and West Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, New Jersey, the state of Delaware. So we draw from a large radius, with the bulk of our students coming from the South Philadelphia zip codes, but we do draw from all over. And we think that's one of the pieces that makes us a vibrant community for your student and your family to experience during your time here at Newman-Goretti. I'm going to go from that into our mission. Our mission is we are a Catholic school, so the Catholic faith is the foundation of all that we do at Newman-Goretti. And one of our goals is to be sure that when your child comes to us and then when they leave, that by that time that they are a spiritually grounded individual. We do that through the Catholic faith, but we do it in a variety of ways. Our school is 60% Catholic, 40% non-Catholic. So our teachers and our staff and administration are very used to meeting students from all backgrounds, all faith backgrounds, Catholic or not, and helping them develop spiritually during their time here at Newman-Goretti. And that's at the core of our mission. We do that in a variety of ways. We do have Catholic masses and liturgies and offer the Catholic sacraments such as reconciliation throughout the school year. We offer retreat experiences each year for the student body at each grade level. And we also have community service built into our coursework. They got a little bit upended by COVID, so we're still not back to mandatory service requirements, but we are anticipating by next year. We're hopeful that all students will be actively engaging in service as a regular part of their experience at Newman-Goretti. Typically, students have at least 14 hours of service outside of the school to complete in a typical year. So we're looking forward to bringing that back post-pandemic. And we think that's a great way for students to connect the Catholic faith and Christianity and love of neighbor, and connect those ideas to make them tangible through service. So it's something that I think is a really important part of the Newman-Goretti experience. I'd like to touch on diversity next. So diversity at Newman-Goretti, we consider this as one of the major strengths of our school experience for students and families, is that when you come to Newman-Goretti, you do get to meet students from all different backgrounds, whether that's a range. And when I say all different backgrounds, I mean racially, religiously, economically, and what we hope to foster while students here is first an understanding that the world that they live in includes people from all different walks of life. And what I really do hope that they find, and I think our students do find, is that we have much more in common with people that we think might be different when we first meet them. And that's what we work to foster during the time here at Newman-Goretti. So our school is about 10% Hispanic, 10% Asian, and 30% African American, and about 50% white. And then there's a small group of students who identify as biracial across all of those areas. So just to give you an idea of our racial makeup, we're economically diverse. So we have students and families from all different economic backgrounds, and Molly and Denise will be talking more about admissions and financial aid. So we want to make sure that families from all different backgrounds know that Newman-Goretti is accessible to you. We want you to engage with us in the high school search process. So we feel at Newman-Goretti that That diversity comes with a great responsibility, though. And one way that we've shown that as a school is that we have recently developed a comprehensive multi-year action plan. We call it the United as Saints Plan, or US for short. And under that plan, we have a variety of action steps that were taken to make sure that Newman-Garetti is an inclusive environment from students from all backgrounds, a place where people can always feel safe, respected, and valued, and included. Some things we've been able to do so far is provide anti-bias training for our faculty and staff. We've added an African American Studies course. We're running field trips to the National Constitution Center under a grant this school year, so that students get a strong foundation of the roots of their nation and what it means to be American and to be a responsible citizen. So these are just some things that are in the initial stages of the plan that we're really proud that we've been able to accomplish so far. I'm going to transition into academics. Academics do fall under me and our assistant principal of academic affairs, who hopefully you'll get a chance to meet. And you know, that's one of the primary responsibility that I have under myself, even though kind of everything that falls under my umbrella, from faith formation to activities to athletics. Academics is at the top right under faith formation. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background on academics at Newman-Garetti and things I think it's important for you to know when you're considering Newman-Garetti as a host school for your child. So first, I think it's important for you to know what our vision of instruction is across all of our courses, no matter what the area or department, whether it's a math and science, a humanities course, an arts course. Our vision of instruction, Newman-Garetti, that we're always working towards with all of our teachers and students, is that the classroom is a place where the teacher is the facilitator of learning, that the lessons are student-centered, which means that ideally the students are doing the majority of the work in the lesson. All right, the teacher's working hard to be a facilitator, but not working hard to do the schoolwork. That's the student's job. That's how we see it. That we give our students opportunities to explore the content and lessons that they're working to learn, okay? So that they're not just dished out the information to memorize and give back to us, but they actually, that their teachers have learning activities for them to participate in that give them the opportunities to discover the content so that they can learn it more deeply and understand the concepts behind them. And lastly, we're always striving to provide classroom experiences where students have an opportunity to collaborate with a partner or a small team. And we see that as a very important 21st century skill, workforce skill, and skill that they'll need in future education in college and when they get into the workforce. And that's what we're always working towards at our school. That's our vision of how our classrooms will be. A few other important things that I want to make sure you understand about academics in Newman-Garetti is that where there's different levels or tiers of courses, and I like to explain this from my own context because I think it's pretty typical. And the most straightforward way that I like to explain it is that a lot of people are used to Catholic high schools in the past. I would say almost none of them have this now, but it's kind of a recent development in Catholic high schools, and it's something that we've adopted at Newman-Garetti, at least Catholic high schools in our Philadelphia system, is that we don't have an overly tracked system. Some of you may remember, perhaps when you were in school, having track 3 and 4 classes. We don't have those in Newman-Goretti. We have a college preparatory level, which includes students of all ability and academic prowess all the way, but including students above average. So much like the middle or grade school experience, of many classes at the high school level include students of all ability levels. We think that's really important for students of all levels to that they're consistently exposed to grade level and high school level coursework in all of their classes. We strongly believe that we're not doing any child we strongly believe that to help a child grow as a learner, and we're making a promise to you that they will be ready to engage in college level coursework and in the workforce in a meaningful way as soon as they leave our doors as a senior, that we have to expose them to high school level work while they're here. So everyone's expected to meet the standards of the grade level, and we think that being exposed to it, it helps you to grow. We also, though, do back that up with support. So we work to meet every student where they're at and scaffold things for them so that they continue to grow as learners. In addition to college preparatory, we do have honors courses. Honors courses are for students that are ready for learning that extends beyond the grade level standards and moves at a faster pace. So that is not for everyone, but it is. Honors courses are offered in Newman-Goretti, and then we also have advanced placement courses that some students may place into sometimes as early as sophomore year, but more likely in junior or senior year. So those are our different tiers, and I bring that to your attention as you're looking at schools, because a differentiator in Newman-Goretti is you will probably be looking at high schools that offer a tier below college preparatory, and we do not do that in Newman-Goretti. We don't believe here. I truly believe as an educator that having gone to it, my own high school experience is a tracked experience, that is a disservice to students, and that is our take educationally, because we find the students also often get stuck when they get pegged into below grade level work when they come into high school. So we'd rather work at grade level and then provide the appropriate supports. Something else you could really expect typically come in the freshman year is that we know that math is often an area that students express concern about their growth and development in. So almost all freshmen in Newman-Goretti have a back-to-back math course. So they'll have Algebra 1, and then they'll have extended time in Algebra 1 getting extra practice. So they do have 90 minutes of Algebra 1 every day. That's also something that you won't most likely won't see offered to the majority of freshmen at some of the other schools that you may be considering. And we really do think that helps students come in a little bit more confident and leave a little bit more confident from their first year of high school math. Important to note before I finish up the academic piece is that when I talk about these tiered courses, different tiers of courses that are offered, at the high school level, it's important also to know, and at our school, we really work to place students appropriately so that they can learn where they're at and continue to grow. And that you could be at different levels in different subject areas if that's appropriate for your child. So you may come into high school, maybe you're initially stronger in math and science than you are in the humanities, like your English and your social studies courses. And if it makes sense and it works with your roster and other data supports it, maybe you're in college prep in some of your classes and honors in the others. You know what I mean? So we really do work to place the students appropriately so that we really set them up to grow and advance during their time at Newman-Goretti. All right. And then as you move to year and year, maybe it's appropriate appropriate to still continue to make some moves in between tiers so that you're getting the most individualized, tailored experience that really works to prepare you for college and career. So that's ultimately our goal. I really want to kind of let you know more about how the tiers are set up in Newman-Goretti. Lastly, some programming that we have in Newman-Goretti that we're proud to offer is we do have advanced placement courses that students may qualify to enroll into, sometimes beginning as early as sophomore year. We've doubled the amount of advanced placement courses that we offer in person in about the last 6 years. We've doubled our in-person offerings, and on top of that, we also offer online classes that are in the advanced placement tier. If a student's ready for that, that is an option for advanced placement subjects that we might not have in person. We also have a variety of college partnerships that offer dual enrollment classes. So some examples are Manor College does host criminal justice and computer science classes on our campus, and Newman University offers different elective courses that are at the college level. Those courses can be taken and you get college credit and high school transcript credit as well at the same time. And our other strong college partner at this time is LaSalle University. We usually have a cohort of students that travel to LaSalle in junior and senior years on a daily basis to take college level coursework. So those are some college partnerships that we've developed over time, and we're actively pursuing growing those partnerships over the next couple of years. So that's something that you should notice at Newman-Goretti. And for support, we do have math support beyond the 9th grade year. So we do have math support classes offered in 10th, 11th, and 12th grades of students. Sometimes students that do benefit from some math support do often advance all the way to pre-calculus at Newman-Goretti. Something we're really proud of, and think speaks to the idea of coming in and doing college preparatory level work as soon as you come in, even if you need the support. And we also do have a resource room, and we also do have a resource room that does provide some accommodations for students that may need them. Okay. So that wraps up my part of today, and I'm going to pass it back to Ms. Edwards. Thanks again for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Quigley. So next up, I know when you're sending your child off to high school, you're worried about them while they're here, and you're worried about what they're going to do after they leave high school. I know as a parent, you really never stop worrying about your kids. So we're going to pass it over to Ms. Landrum, our guidance director, and she's going to share just how our guidance department, which is, I think, large for the size of our school, how they support our students while they're here emotionally and socially, and also how they prepare them and get them ready for the next step, college, career, whatever that may be. So Ms. Landrum, hand it off to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards. Welcome. And again, my name is Mrs. Kathleen Landrum. I am the Director of Guidance here. And I just kind of wanted to give a little overview of what the guidance department looks like and who we are and how we work with the students. So in addition to myself, we have a Catapult Title I counselor who is full-time. We have a Cora counselor who is also full-time here 5 days a week. And then we have a social worker on staff as well. So between the 4 of us, we are here every day during the week to serve our students. And then 2 days a week, we do have a school psychologist who comes and assists us with any testing or needs that we may find for students. So that's the breakdown of our staff in the guidance office. And we are pretty happy with the fact that we are able to see our students on a regular basis, pretty consistently. The services that we provide range from everything individual to group meetings. The topics can be academic related, social, peer, career-related, college-related, and personal. So students are able to come to us for many different reasons. We also coordinate academic testing with the proper referrals and consents. So when students are starting to struggle and we see that there's a need beyond the classroom that we're just not able to get a handle on and try to figure out where it's coming from, you know, we can move forward with getting that testing done to see if there's an underlying issue. We also work with our Cora counterparts to do psychosocial evaluations when there's underlying mental health issues or family related issues that are going on, and we just need to support families a little bit more in that vein. So between those supports, we do cover pretty much the gamut of anything that you can think of. How do our students come to us? Well, every student, when they enroll in Newman-Goretti, are assigned a counselor, and they will stay with the counselor for freshman and sophomore year, and then they'll have a different counselor for junior and senior year, but it'll be the same counselor for junior, senior year. And what we do in that model is we really are able to take the time and meet students, get to know them, so that we are really working with them to figure out what is it that they want to do. The conversation about their future really does start in freshman year, when we're trying to encourage them to self-explore what their skills are and what their interests are, which then, as that conversation continues through the end of the year as a freshman, becomes the sophomore year of looking at what are the careers that you can do with those skills. And then that's the sophomore year program. So it really is something that we take time and invest in our students to see how are we preparing them and what is it that they want to do. It doesn't matter what that goal is. We want to prepare them and make sure that they are well suited for whatever that goal is. The potential that a student has is always something that we're trying to uncover and help them foster. So with that, we also look at the schools as a junior, you know, as they keep moving through this process. When they become a junior, we start looking at what are the majors that would lead into those careers. What does a typical work experience in that field look like? So it's always trying to make sure that we're giving them and exposing them to the proper information to help them make the decisions that are going to get them where they want to go. That doesn't matter what that goal looks like. Our goal really is to make sure that they are finding their place. And then the senior year is all about those last steps to get where that goal is. Just to name a couple of instances, our most recent grads from the past couple of years have gone into many colleges. That is typically our path for students, but they've also entered the workforce right from graduation. They've joined apprenticeship programs at local trade unions. They've enlisted in the military or become first responders, just to name a few of the things that our students have done. So we really do work with them to make sure that we're meeting the needs of what they are looking for. And that all comes together by the individual time that we spend with our students. So that's really kind of the overview of the guidance department and what we do. So I'll turn it back to Ms. Edwards.
Thank you, Ms. Landrum. And I'm always really impressed by where our kids end up, you know, whether they're going to the Ivy League on full scholarships like last year's valedictorian, whether they are going straight into training to be a first responder or an electrician, they all have a plan. We are a college prep school, so our students in the classroom are preparing for college. Everything they're doing is getting ready for college to have that as an option. But then our guidance department works so closely with the kids to make sure where they go is the best place and the right fit for their dreams and goals. So it's a really cool opportunity for them. And I am going to brag on their behalf just a little bit. Last year's seniors as a class earned over $28 million in college scholarships to all of the schools they applied to. So I know Catholic education is an investment, but it is an investment that pays off here at Newman-Goretti because we are setting you up for that next step and helping make sure you can manage it. So we're really proud of that. I want to talk a little bit about our admissions process, but first I just want to share some student words because, you know, you can hear from us, but the students are the ones getting the education, experiencing what we're doing. So I want to share some of their thoughts. This is from a graduate of the class of 2020. Newman-Goretti is a great school that will forever be a part of who I am. Whether it's academics, athletics, or the arts, there's something for everyone. From the welcoming environment to the tight-knit community, anybody who chooses to come to Newman-Goretti will automatically feel accepted and at home. And that's a message our students share over and over and over again, that no matter who they are, what their interests are, whether they are, you know, a star on the field or in the classroom or in the orchestra, they feel at home, they feel welcomed, they feel like this is a place where they can be themselves. And that's something we're very proud of. So I want to talk a little bit about our application process. It's a pretty straightforward process. We know that you are looking at a lot of high schools, most likely, that this process can become overwhelming with the applications and the records and the tests and everything else. We want to keep ours as straightforward as possible so that the decision-making process is the part you can focus on, not the application. So it's pretty straightforward. We require an online application. We need a copy of your student's final 7th grade report card, and you need to take our entrance exam. We have a number of dates coming up in November. You can still register for those. If you go to a Catholic grade school in Philadelphia, chances are we'll be offering the exam at your school during a school day. If you don't have that information from your school yet, please let me know. We can let you know when that is. But the most important part is the application, the report card, the entrance exam. So long as you have those 3 things completed, you can expect an email from us within about 2 to 3 weeks of your exam date, letting you know what your next steps will be. And what they could be is there could be scholarship opportunities based on your test scores and grades. We can let you know about financial aid. We can let you know if we want to talk to you more. You know, we know last year was an especially hard year. Your 7th grade report card might not be a reflection of the type of student you typically are, or your test scores this year. Maybe it was just a tough day. Testing is not a place where you excel. We understand that. So whenever we have questions, we invite students to interview with us with either Mr. Quigley or one of our assistant principals. It's an interview with both the student and a parent or guardian, and it's just our chance to get to know you, to learn your story, to talk with you, for all of us together to figure out if Newman-Goretti is the right fit for you. And maybe what we want to see, if we want to see certain things on your next report card, or if we're ready for you to register based on our conversations, whatever it is, we will work with you through the process. We do want to get to know each and every one of you so that we can all decide if this is the best place for you to spend the next 4 years, which we hope that it will be. And so, as we've said, it is an investment. We know that. We know there's tuition and that can be a financial strain for many. So I want to turn it over to our tuition officer, Mrs. Denise Arregale, to talk a little bit about our scholarship and financial aid opportunities to make the tuition accessible for as many families as possible.
Hi, everyone. So as part of the application process, typically we ask all families to fill out the FACTS financial aid application. And that application allows us to both offer any academic scholarships that might be available, but also to assist with any just plain financial aid. Typically what happens for our school, we get donations from various sources, blocks, the business leaders organized for Catholic school, some archdiocesan funds, some alumni funds, and we distribute those based on various reasons. It might be that a donor specifically says that they'd like it to be to somebody from that grade school, or it might be based on financial need, or it might be based on academics, or some combination of that. But the first step is to fill out the FACTS financial aid application. They're on our website. There are listings of other scholarship opportunities. Some of them are specific to the local Catholic schools. Some of them are specific, like, for example, the CEO America Scholarship is one that's offered to students that are coming from public or charter schools. And that organization wants to support students who were never in a Catholic school before. And so each year you fill that application out, and they do support students for the first 2 years that they're in school. There's also the Ellis Trust. That's for girls of single parents. Charles Ellis set that fund up 100 years ago, and basically it's to support low-income female students to help them with their education needs. Some of these applications are open now, like the Facts Financial Aid application. Some open after January 1st, like CEO America or the Ellis Trust. Any kinds of questions that you might have, feel free to call the tuition office and I can help you walk through any of those type questions. I also usually encourage people to look around in their local community. For example, the Mummers organizations have scholarships that they offer. Maybe there's one that your church has or something like that. So definitely look around to see if there's any other local scholarships that you're able to apply for, as well as the ones that are listed on our website.
Thanks, Denise. And Denise, we had one question come in about facts. If you filled out the facts application for another school, do you need to fill out a separate one for Newman Goretti, or do we all share the same facts application?
So the facts application applies to all of the schools. Let's say that you have a grade school student at St. Monica's, and then you're also applying to West Catholic, Newman Goretti, and Roman. You would fill out one application for all of those students and schools. And as long as you list each school on your application, each school will be able to see and evaluate what financial aid they're able to offer you. Those decisions are typically just in a particular school. So if you were offered the Halley Scholarship, let's say, at West Catholic, that does not mean that that also is an offer from Newman Goretti. Each school has their own scholarships to distribute.
Thanks, Denise. And just to add on that, if you're ever not sure if you have applied to multiple schools and you're submitting a fax application for multiple schools and you're not sure if we have yours, you can always just ask. We can check and let you know if you listed us on our application, or help you figure out how to add us if you need to. So at this time, I want to first thank our panelists for sharing all of their information. And I'd like to open it up to questions. Any questions you have, you can put in the Q&A box or in the chat. We'll give you a moment to get those in, and we're happy to answer any questions at all that you might have tonight.
While everybody's thinking, I just want to add, when you're filling out the fax application, you basically want to make sure that you're telling facts about the income that you have. So then make sure that you remember to tell facts about all of the expenses that you also have. I think a lot of times people forget to put things down, like, maybe they help their mother with expenses or something like that. Sometimes you have to understand that they only know what you tell them. And so they're going to evaluate your application based on what you've told them. And so if you've left some things out, then of course they're going to think that you have more leftover money than you think that you have.
Oh, great question. So we had a question: if you don't live in the area, do we provide transportation? So we don't provide private transportation or busing here at Newman Goretti, but we do work with the city of Philadelphia, and students who live more than 1.5 miles from the school, walking distance, can receive a free trans pass that they can use for the entire year to get back and forth from school. So many of our students travel to and from school by SEPTA. We are just 3 blocks from the Tasker-Morris stop on the Broad Street line, and we're right on the 47 and 45 bus line. So really accessible through SEPTA. And our school starts, students need to be in their homeroom at about 7:45. They have 8 periods a day. So they have a short homeroom followed by 8 class periods, which are about 45 minutes long, one of those being lunch, and they're dismissed at about 2:30. And let's see. Can we talk a little bit about athletics, and do we offer phys ed classes during the school day? So yes, we have tons of athletic programs. They are competitive. They are really fun. We actually are going to have another one of these spotlight sessions later in December with our athletic director and our coaches, and they can go into way more detail, but I'll share that we have for boys, we have soccer, cross country, indoor and outdoor track and field, football, basketball, and baseball. For girls, we have soccer, cross country, volleyball, cheer, basketball, softball, and this year we're starting girls flag football for the first time, which we're excited about. The programs are competitive. The students work really hard, both on the field and in the classroom. Many of our coaches have instituted mandatory study halls after school. So the students finish the school day, they go spend about an hour or so in an empty classroom with their team, working on their homework, going to meet with teachers if they need to, and then they get together for practice. So it's been a really good way to make sure that our athletes, many of whom are planning to go play in college, are also college ready academically. And we do offer phys ed. That is a 1-year requirement. So students are required 1 year out of the 4 to take half a year of phys ed and half a year of health. Let's see. Denise, we had a question about FACS. Is there a fee associated with the FACS application?
This year, the fee was $30 to apply to the FACS application. Assuming that it remains stagnant, it would be $30. And like I said, it's one application fee for all of the schools in total that you're applying for.
Thanks, Denise. And another one, let's see, this is a bit of a specific one. If you're a guardian and the parents are not involved, how would you handle the FACS application? Or that might just be something you'd want to contact you about separately, Denise?
They can contact me separately, but typically the person who is going to be financially responsible for the bill would be the person filling out the FACS aid application. Normally, that person is also the person who claims the student on their tax return.
And another question, for financial aid, do we review financial letters as well as tax information?
I'm not sure what they mean by financial letters, but so sometimes at the end of the application, they'll ask either, is there going to be a change in income, or is there any other information that we need to know? That would be the place to put other extra information. If there's something more specific, you can call me and talk about it. What I usually tell people is the year that you're applying, so for next year, you can use either your 2020 tax return or your 2021 tax return. So what I would suggest you use is whatever is the most reflective of your income now. So some people had a boom in 2020 because of whatever reason. Sometimes people might have taken an annuity out because they needed to live during 2020, and that could really high skew their number. If 2021 then is more reflective, we want to make sure that we use 2021. But any specific individual questions, just call me and ask, and we can go through them.
Thanks, Denise. Mr. Quigley, I'm going to let you take this one. Do we provide lunch?
So, yeah, sure, I can answer that. So all the RSASs in high schools are contracted with Aramark as a school system, and they all have Aramark as their lunch vendor. We do not participate in a free and reduced lunch program. Students that would qualify in public or charter for free lunch, if you meet those eligibility requirements, there are a limited amount of spots that you could potentially request to be plugged into for a $3 daily credit, which is the current program. So for an example, for this year, I would say we probably have, Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to say I probably have about 150 students that are free reduced eligible, but I've only been allotted 36 spots for the $3 daily credit. So it's not a very robust program, but there is availability there. And we do it on a referral basis, with the minimum criteria being that you do meet the free lunch guidelines that would in public and charter schools. the majority of students at Newman Gray are not available for a lunch reduction. But there is a small program for those who may qualify, and I definitely encourage you to reach out to Denise and myself when over the summer, and we can let you know where you stand with that.
Thanks, Mr. Quigley. And another question, I can answer this one. Do we have a choir? We do. We have a 4-year fine arts program in choir, orchestra, and studio art. So we have a choir, we have a beginner orchestra, and an advanced symphony orchestra. And new to our choir this year, they're actually doing a joint class of choir and guitar. So they do both singing and guitar throughout the class. The kids seem to really be enjoying it this year, and it's a really cool program for students who are interested in the arts. And Mr. Quigley, this one's going to be for you. How do we determine what classes 9th graders are rostered into, whether they're in college prep or honors?
Okay, so we're talking level of classes, not the actual courses that are taken, right? Or I could speak to both.
If it is levels of classes.
Okay. Yeah, so I could answer that simply. So placement in college prep, the college prep tier versus honors for the freshman year are based upon a combination of your entrance exam and your 7th and 8th grade, a review of your 7th and 8th grade report cards. I think it's really important to understand that college prep includes students of above average ability. So honors classes are a good way to determine how you might be placed in an honors class at Newman Gray for freshman year is really to take a look at your child's history of standardized testing and look at that with your grade school principal if you want to get a sense. Standardized testing is a good predictor of if you'll be placed in honors. If you're not scoring in if most students in honors courses are scoring above the 90th percentile, along with a really strong 7th and 8th grade report card. So just to give you a sense of how students are placed.
Thank you. See, another one. Are all of the scholarships listed on our website? Yes. If you go to newmangarettihs.org/afford, or you can just get there from our admissions page, there is a list of every single scholarship that we offer, that other organizations offer, that can be used at Newman Goretti. Every single scholarship we know of is listed on our website. So I do often get emails that say, I looked at the website, are there any others? If they are, we put them on the website. We want them to be accessible to anyone. So please take the time to go through that list, apply for anything you think you might qualify for. We have plenty of students who have multiple sources of tuition support, financial aid, academic scholarships, outside scholarships. Definitely look through all of those on the website. And we do update that if we ever learn of new scholarships, when new applications open up, we keep that updated as much as we possibly can. How long does it take for the financial aid to be shared? So as long as you've completed your financial aid application before your student takes their entrance exam, we will let you know of your financial eligibility with your entrance exam results. So within 2 to 3 weeks of your exam. If you do your financial aid after your student takes their entrance exam, after we've given you your next steps, you can typically expect to hear about eligibility within 2 to 3 weeks of when you complete the financial aid application. Let's see, is the school lunch a hot lunch prepared daily or a packaged lunch? It's a hot lunch prepared daily. We have a full cafeteria. They have multiple offerings every day. They have salad, sandwiches, wraps, pizza, a whole grill section with like burgers and nuggets and fries. So tons of options for the kids every day. The kids generally like the food. They say it's pretty good. So it definitely is a full hot lunch every day. Mr. Quigley, what is the percentage of minority teachers in the school?
Sure. We have a variety of part-time and full-time staff. So I think the easiest way for me to communicated is probably as a percentage of the full-time staff. I think that'd be the most transparent way to communicate it. So about 15% of our full-time staff is non-white. That includes African American and Hispanic. We do have, if we're talking teaching staff, we do have part-time and other staff members that include professionals from different backgrounds, and we have counselors and school psychologists and from different backgrounds as well. But I think that the most transparent way to communicate that number would be to base it on our full-time teaching staff. So it'd be about 15% at this time. As part of our socially responsible citizenship plan that I spoke about in my intro, it is one of our goals to work with the Archdiocese to make sure that we are not only working hard to recruit, but also to retain educators of color, because we believe that representation matters in Newman-Goretti.
Thanks, Mr. Quigley. This question, do we have a work program for students to gain experience? So we are, like we've said, we're a college prep high school, so we're not a work study program or a job training program. There are high schools that offer that. So if that's something a student knows that they're interested in, definitely check out some of those programs. We do, however, work closely with the kids to try and find them opportunities over the summer outside of school to further their interest. I know just talking to 2 students earlier today during a program talked about a summer program that one student did at CHOP where he was working in the oncology lab. Another student did a nursing program at Jefferson this summer to get some experience in the field of nursing to figure out if that's what she wants to study. Later on in a few weeks, we actually will have another spotlight with about student life and our director of community partnerships, who really works with the kids to find opportunities to do things outside of school, will be available to talk about even more of those programs. And let's see, do we have any upcoming weekend open houses? This year, we're not doing a big weekend open house. As we all know, COVID has kind of changed the plans for everyone, for everything. We've decided here at Newman-Goretti that we won't be doing the large open house this year. We are hosting, we're calling weekly walkthroughs once a week throughout the fall. We're inviting small groups of parents and students to come in together for a tour, for an info session. Students have the opportunity to shadow a class and enjoy lunch with some other students. We're finding it to be a more personal experience than a traditional open house. We had one this morning and it was a really lovely event. So I'd strongly encourage you to sign up for those if you haven't already. And we are looking to add additional spaces and dates because they are really popular. Let's see, one more question. Do students need a letter of recommendation for their application? No, we don't require that for the application. There are a few scholarships that require it, so just read the scholarship requirements carefully if you're applying for one. I know specifically the leadership scholarship requires one, so you may for a scholarship, but just for the regular admissions application, no recommendation is needed. Any other final questions? Please know that I am always available. Email is the best way to reach me, but I'm always available to answer questions. Same with everyone here. Denise is always available to answer financial aid and scholarship questions. So please, please don't hesitate to reach out to us throughout this process so that we can provide assistance. I'd like to close tonight. Just one, I want to highlight a few of our upcoming spotlights. This was our first one of the admission season. We have many more coming up over the next few weeks. Next week, we'll hear from our English and history departments. We'll hear from our math, science, and business departments, fine arts, and world languages. Starting in December, we'll learn about faith at Newman-Goretti. We'll hear from our school minister, from our theology teachers. Later in December, we'll have a session on athletics with our athletic director and coaches, and we'll end our full spotlight season talking about student life, hearing from our student ambassadors, talking about clubs, community partnerships, outside activities, all the things that add to life here at Newman-Goretti. And just a few final thoughts from students. This is from Franco Chima, who graduated last year. Said, my time at Newman-Goretti has pushed me to be a stronger and more confident person. I'm more willing to put myself out there to new experiences because of how supported I feel as a student here. And for Mia Messina, who graduated last year, Newman-Goretti has become a second home to me. The people become like family, and the relationships you create here are ones that you know you're going to keep once you leave. It's a theme we hear over and over from our students. Newman Goretti feels like home. It feels like family. It's a place where they're safe to be themselves, to learn and to grow. I can attest for both of those students. I knew them since they started as freshmen, and they really did grow over the years into confident students, into students who were comfortable speaking in front of large groups, talking to people, sharing their views in a really wonderful way. So we're proud of what we're doing here. We're so happy to be able to share it with you. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to spend with us. And I hope we'll see you at future events. And please don't hesitate to reach out for anything at all. So thank you, Mr. Quigley, Ms. Landrum, and Ms. Arrigal for your time, for your expertise. And thank you everyone for joining us. Good night.